Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. And baby, we're disrupting today. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin show, because I got to be the Disrupt Meister when I'm on the Beyond Bitcoin show, all the other shows on the Bitcoin Meister. Today is February the 23rd. Wow. 2019. Strong hand. Every day is a strong hand, even when we're not talking about Bitcoin. Unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is new countercultural. Remember that. Deferral, gratification, conviction. All right, everybody, check out yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin show. It was Simon Dixon. What can I say? It was a great time. Toward the end of the show, we talked about gold, and it was one of those Simon Dixon moments where something just hit me. I'm like, yeah, that's the argument you're going to use when anybody says, oh, I should have gold instead of Bitcoin. Watch the show yourself. All right. Now, before this show started, I was in the chat. Because the chat's going on right now. If you watch the show live, you see it. But it starts before the show starts. And Jack was in there. And Jack says to me, he's like, Adam, Bitcoin is it's pumping right now. Bitcoin is pumping right now. And I was like, what? I had no idea. I had no idea it was like over $4,100 or something like that. Not at all. I was just focusing on the show. And again, I think a lot of you, I mean, you can see I have that conviction of valuing my wealth in Bitcoin. This show that I do today has little to do with Bitcoin. And that was my focus. I'm not worried about Bitcoin's fiat price when I'm trying to do this show. And again, it doesn't, whatever. It is what it is. So I don't know. I put a big smile on my face. I'm like, hey, I really do practice what I preach here. I had no idea that it's pumping or whatever. And anything. The funny thing is that in the future. And by the way, that's it. That's the last I'm talking about it on today's show. We're getting to Beyond Bitcoin, but in the future, someone's going to watch this show and they're going to hear pumping and $4,100, and they're just going to smile. It's like, what? Well, and then the only reason they won't smile, the only time that pumping at $4,100 will be in the same sentence in the future will be, the Bitcoin just pumped $4,100 today to $100,000. Pound that like button. All right. So effort is the embodiment of free will. Think about that for a little bit. Most people lack effort on the most important of matters. And if we all have free will, but if you don't put any effort into anything you do, then it passes you by and you just go with the flow. You forfeit your free will. You let other people make decisions for you. You give you cede your power over to other entities. And it just takes effort to live a free will lifestyle. Effort, resisting that takes some effort there. 80%ers will be satisfied with a comfortable dystopia. And I have said that before. That's kind of Doug Casey didn't say that exactly. He talked about the term comfortable dystopia, but 80%ers will be very comfortable. We live in a resource-rich environment, and eventually 80%ers will just sit there and they'll get fat. And if they can sign up for some government program and the government will give them free stuff, and they won't have to put any effort into their lives at all. They'll be on the government payroll. They'll be on the government healthcare. And if something goes wrong, then the government will take care of it for them. But they might not like that. And again, if they had any effort, they would get into Bitcoin. They would get off of that line of thinking, that path in life. But most people don't want to. On the most important of issues, people don't put effort into the most important of issues. I'm not saying that people don't put effort into the smaller issues, like, I really got to get there fast, so I'm going to speed. What they should have done was put effort into planning so they wouldn't have to speed to get to the place that they're late to. All right, so think about that. Effort is the embodiment of free will, and we All of us do have free will. Don't think you don't. If you think you don't have free will, then you just become a machine. You become a servant to the government, a servant to power, to others, not necessarily the government per se. All right. So Sandman had a very interesting video, and I actually don't link to it below because it was just the very end what he said. He said, and I don't know if he messed up on this, but a lot of people think this way. I didn't think he thought this way. He said previous generations had everything. And he was, I think he was referring to the baby boomers, and the current has a fraction of that. And that's why Antifa is angry, or it was something like that. No, what are you talking about there? The previous generations had everything. We have everything. It improves. The abundance improves from generation to generation, and people fighting and attacking. There's no excuse for it. If they just put effort into their lives, they would have plenty. They would be living off of the bountiful glory that technology has brought us today. But again, we have a lot of people that don't want to put any effort, and so they just complain and they riot, they join Antifa, and they make up, they say things are bad now. Things are bad. They're worse than they used to be. No, things are much better. I mean, would you want to grow up when your parents grew up without the internet? without so much. I mean, you can stuff your face at any moment. Everything's open 24 hours. Snap of the fingers, you can get anything. I mean, it's become sickening. It's overkill what you can get. That people don't realize. People don't think, and people want more. There's envy. Envy takes you down a path where you become lazy and there is no effort and you just complain. Be in motion. Okay, continuing. Here is a video from Thinking Ape, which is very interesting. It talks about this guy, Andrew Yang, and I think some people, if you're on the internet, at least you've heard of him. He's a guy running for president as a Democrat. He's not a politician. He's he's in Silicon Valley, I believe. And so he's a tech guy. He's a very smart guy. He's one of those Silicon Valley liberal types, like Vinny Lingham, probably. I bet he knows Vinny, or it's possible Vinny Lingham. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth here. But he's all the people running for president, including Donald Trump, all the major candidates that you hear about. And again, don't put these people on pedestal, but they focus on issues, easier issues, or popular issues, or what's the word? Sensational issues. Andrew Yang is bringing up something that people aren't talking about, and that is the automation that's coming. Okay, and in terms of how are we going to really deal with that? In all around, Andrew Yang's solution involves universal basic income. Okay, and I disagree with that. I disagree. I think it's a temporary blip on the radar, but we should talk about it. We should at least bring it up. I guess that's what politicians should do. I mean, they should speak the truth. They know that in the 2020s, this is going to become an issue. People are going to lose their jobs. So it's good to talk about it now so people can prepare. So people can prepare. Maybe the government will offer solutions, I guess. I think I'm into the private solutions. Again, it's a temporary blip on the radar because eventually everyone will be educated in technology type of subjects where you won't have to do jobs that have been destroyed by automation. You won't have to be a truck driver anymore. People who used to learn to be truck drivers are going to learn to be other things. They're going to learn to be robot maintainers, or robot fixers, robot keepers, robot checkers, or something like that. But it is, I do give Thinking Ape credit that he gives Andrew Yang credit for actually bringing up an issue that is not a comfortable issue for everyone. And it is going to be something that everyone on this in the Western world is going to have to deal with in the 2020s. And if you want to be president in the 2020s, you should talk about things that are actually going to happen in the 2020s. Now, going back to universal basic income as a solution to automation. Now, there are other people that think that talk about universal basic income. They just want it for the heck of it. I mean, they're just out of envy. They're like, well, he's using it as a solution to a future problem. Okay, but I'm sure there's socialists and whatnot. You know, I haven't read Bernie Sanders' platform. He might like something like this, but I believe that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, can be a substitute for universal basic income. And that is another, that's just a subject for a whole nother show. And I've been thinking about it for a while. But hey, I'm giving you a little sneak peek here of my way of thinking. I think the private industry could create its own universal basic income. And it wouldn't have to be the government taxing people to pay other people to do nothing. So again, find opportunity in this madness. Okay, there's going to be all sorts of madness, but you can consider it madness and doom and gloom, or you can consider it opportunity. If people start going the UBI route, then you present a solution that is a private solution, a private UBI, a cryptocurrency solution, and that's what I'm doing right now, and I'll do it in a future show also. So pound that like button. Follow me on Steemit at Bitcoin Meister. This is live on Steemit now. Techbalt, TCHBALT on Twitter. All right, so this dude Jussie. Yeah, I hadn't heard of the guy before either, right? I don't watch the show. I don't have a TV. Even Ben Shapiro watches TV. It saddens me a little bit. He talks about Game of Thrones. I have no idea what that is. I don't know the difference between Jussie's show and Game of Thrones, really. There really is no difference, is there? But I mean, one's on Fox and the other one you got to pay for or something. I don't know. You got to order the other one. Well, anyway, this guy Jussie, he got caught up in this victim mentality that's taken over the world, that's taken over the 80%er world. And he realized that being a victim would get him a raise at his job. If he could fake his victimhood, he would get money. If he could pull it off, he would become more famous, get book deals, get all sorts of stuff. And he did it in a very sloppy manner. He's not a very intelligent person, clearly. And perhaps he's totally insane. I mean, I'm sure that maybe that'll be his excuse. I mean, what other excuse is there? It's so shameful. It's so embarrassing with the guy trying to do. But there's a bigger story to all this, okay? I mean, he was that bold. He did something that outrageous because he knew it would be if he pulled it off, it would be great for his career. That is the world. Everyone's trying to become a bigger victim. Victimhood is admired. Victimhood is rewarded. Oh my God. So again, I say take the 20%er path in life. I say get into the Bitcoin overlay. Get out of that world. Get out of that world. Get into the world where productivity is rewarded, where competition is a real thing. It's not a biased competition. It's a healthy competition, and where people understand, where people praise people for doing well. People aren't envious of others. Again, why? Anyway, anti-sensationalism too. We get a lesson from this. And say anti-sensationalism, I've said this before, is a key to life. This was a sensational story, and you cannot get caught up too much in this. And clearly, the media they jump onto this because they're onto sensationalism. So if you avoid stories like this, you hear about it, you learn your lesson, you move on. You grab something like I grabbed from it, and that's it. You say, oh, well, it's sad that we live in a world that's where victims are put on pedestals and where people try to be victims. That's sickening. But I'm going to make the most of the situation. I'm going to be in the Bitcoin overlay where I can say anything, where I can think anything, and I'm just going to try to rid myself of that world and avoid it at all costs and not worry about it. So, and we're going to get back to that in a second. I wanted to talk about, there's a lot of people out there, and this is something that's been going on for generations. I'm Jewish, obviously, and Jewish people for centuries have been accused of dual loyalty. I mean, are you loyal to the country? Are you loyal to your people? Who are you loyal to? This, loyal, that. Israel first. You're Israel first. How can you be an American? And then people carry it away, and they say that all the senators are dual citizens, which none of the Jewish senators or Jewish congressmen in the United States, at least none of the Jewish senators, are dual citizens. I don't think any of the congressmen are either. And there's just this amazing. And if you talk about Israel, you're Israel first, or you don't care about America first, or dual loyalty, and it's tiresome. And I bring it up because some of the same people who shout that actually talk about how people in South Africa are suffering, and that we need to help South Africa. And there's some unfair stuff that's going on in South Africa right now. And you know what? I agree. There is. I don't agree farm confiscations are terrible. That's a terrible thing to happen. And people should worry about that, and people should speak out about that. But because, does anyone accuse those people of dual loyalty to South Africa? I mean, a lot of the people they're talking, the farmers in South Africa are the same race and the same religion as many people in America. And no one says, oh, it's horrible. Are you loyal to South Africa? Are you loyal to America? Here's the thing. Be a thinking person. You can care about it. Be a global person. You can talk about other subject matters. You can be. Not everybody's the same. Not everyone's the same ethnicity. People are gonna talk more about people they have things in common with. They're gonna have, they're gonna know people that maybe they have more things in common with. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that in the world. I mean, again, loyalty. What does loyalty to the United States of America mean? You should worship the United States. You should be a tax slave and shut your mouth and don't talk about any other country. Don't talk about any other situation on earth. Again, there's good. As long as you don't hurt anyone, as long as you, I think you shouldn't be bothered. I think people, if someone isn't hurting you, don't try to pin them out to be a criminal or against the government. dual loyalties. What's this loyal? Be loyal to yourself. Be loyal to your family, and don't be violent toward others or anything like that. But I mean, you could care about situations in other countries. Nothing wrong with that at all. So again, and I of all people, I care very much about what's going on in South Africa, and I care about the people that I have met in South Africa. Clearly, I've returned there numerous times, and I think I might even be a little bit more familiar with the situation there than some of the big talkers on YouTube who are talking about what's going on in South Africa, haven't ever stepped foot in South Africa. And at the same time, they accuse, dual loyalties. Anyway, but moving on, treat people, this is something I came up with the other day. Treat people on the web as you would treat them face to face, and you'll get respect. And I do that. I mean, again, I don't go attacking people on Twitter in mad curse-filled rants. Because you know what? In life, I don't go attacking random people that I just met for 1 second, start cursing at them because they said something bad about Bitcoin or something. Or no, I'm civil. And again, there have been times in person I can become agitated, I guess. And it probably then maybe there's a few times on the internet, maybe I can become agitated. But again, I do not take it to some of these people, the way they behave on social media, they would never behave that way in person to your face. They would never act that way. So I advise people, like, if you're losing it on social media, take it down a few notches. And the way you do that is you think about, I got to act as I would to this person, as I would in person. And in person, just think about, if I met this guy on the street, how would I talk to them in person? And that's how you act. And that's how I think you get respect that way. And maybe you don't want respect. Hey, it's personal responsibility is a new counterculture. If you just want to be a troll, then I guess you just want to be a troll. But there's something you got to think deep down. Like, I'm a troll on the internet, but I could never be a troll in person. And what's that mean? What's that mean for your self-worth? I don't know. But yeah, that's my policy, is treat people on the web as I would treat them in person. So again, I on this show, I keep it pretty clean. In life, I keep it pretty clean, and I'm trying to be a friendly person on the show. Try to be a friendly person in life. But the Twitter thing is the extreme, though. The Twitter thing, I mean, it seems like at least half the people on Twitter would not act the way they do on Twitter in real life. All right, someone in the super chat. What is this here? We got Josh Kohout. Listening to Simon and Adam makes me want to all in. Yeah, Josh Kohout. Thanks for the $1.99 in that super chat. And yeah, I'm glad, Simon and I present a very positive vibe around cryptocurrency. We keep it very positive. I've never met Simon in person, but I assume that's the way he is in person. That's the way I am in person. If people meet me, they know I'm a very positive person, and I've got Bitcoin conviction in person and on the show. And yeah, I think it was a good show, and you get a good feeling about Bitcoin afterwards. You just got to be a long-term thinker. It's not going to be overnight type of thing. And sure, you can get a little You can get a little hit when you see there's a pump in the fiat price. But again, you got to be prepared for the fiat price to go down $500 tomorrow. I mean, and just be ready to take it like a man and just be like, oh, whatever, that's life. Long-term thinking, 2021, we'll just laugh at all this. All right. Now, we become what we think about. Now, I mentioned this on the show earlier this week. I didn't mean to, but because I want to talk about this on this show. But there is this guy. I was sent this video by a fan of mine from Europe, and he said, Adam, check this video out, and it is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And it was done like in the 50s or something. And, you know, there's some old school advice in there. There's some old school advice, and I think you should you should definitely check out that old school advice. And again, one of the things was we become what we think about. And this is so true. Now, does AOC make you angry and want to post something on Twitter about the end of the world? Or do you think how great that, you know, this situation could be for Bitcoin and how you can benefit from all of this madness? It's doom versus being in motion. So do you think about the doom side of things? You'll become doom. If you think about the emotion side of things, you're going to be in motion. So the bottom line is you're going to hear about a lot of things. Determine if they're positive, and then a move away from them if you're negative. So you think about positive things, you're going to be a positive person. You're going to be in motion. If you think about being in motion, you're going to be in motion. You think about Bitcoin a lot, you're going to be Bitcoin. I think about Bitcoin a lot. I become Bitcoin. I get more Bitcoin. It's a never-ending cycle. If I keep thinking positively. If I were to get down and caught up in doom and gloom and all that, then I would be doom and gloom. I'd be presenting doom and gloom. And I wouldn't be in motion, and that would be bad. I'd become a sick person. Pound that like button. So yeah, think about that. We become what we think about. Don't think about negative. Think about positive things. Set goals. If you think about your goals, you'll become your goals. You really will. But there's so many distractions in life, and people end up thinking about a lot of other stuff. So Time Magazine had an article, Israel private moon landing. Yeah, there's some private, I think it's a public-private initiative in Israel, where I am right now. I'm in Tel Aviv. And they've launched a probe to the moon. And it's going to land there if all goes well. I mean, it's a hard thing. Only 4 countries have landed, 3 countries have landed probes on the moon, United States, Russia, and China. And this would be a 4th country, but it would be private. And I think it's semi-public. But the point is that I'm very impressed. I hope it works. I hope it inspires. We need more private industry in space, okay? It's not the countries that are going to lead the way, okay? They're slow. They're slow-moving elephants. And they're not wise. An elephant is wise, supposedly. We need nimble little creatures that go out there and go out there a lot. And there are lots of them. So, yeah, you can read, Google it, Israel to the moon, it's called. To the moon, as they say here. Okay, so here is Liberty Blitzkrieg. Michael Krieger sent this out. Here's a chart of children being turned into debt slaves. And what it shows is that college debt keeps on rising every year. Every year, people still, I mean, the colleges keep charging more. Kids keep wanting to go to college. They keep taking out these loans. They don't understand that you can't get rid of this college debt. Maybe they think Bernie's going to save them. I don't know. This is not a personal responsibility. They're going into debt and they're not realizing this is going to have horrible effects on their long-term wealth, okay? They have to pay it back. Going $200,000 into debt. And again, so, if you want to go to college, but have at least some of the money for it and have a plan to pay it back. If you're going into if you're majoring in something where you're only going to get paid $30,000 a year and you go into $200,000 in debt, it makes no sense at all. Again, be creative. Think outside the box. Get into this Bitcoin overlay. Fitting in is overrated. Fitting in is, that's why a lot of people want to go to college. Not everybody's college material. And again, 2020s are coming up where we're going to have automation, where some things that people go to college for might be automated even. Okay? There's going to be an effect. So, get into something that has a future. And if you're going to get into debt, get into something that can pay off your debt at least. I advise people, don't go into debt at all. Don't go into debt. Just save. Save. You don't have to live these extravagant, and most of these college kids going into debt, okay, to pay for their college. Do they go out to eat? Do they go? Yeah, of course. They go out to eat all the time. Do they drink heavily? Hundreds of dollars in bar tabs? Yeah, of course. Of course. And yet they say it's the government's fault, or it's whoever. It's not their fault. No. They signed the deal. They knew they didn't have to drink. They didn't have to party. They didn't have to go out to eat every night. They didn't have to fit in that way. You gotta. And again, when you're 18, I know it's hard. I mean, parents should have talks with their kids. I mean, if you've got a kid that's 14 to 16 right now, prepare them for the 2020s. Just like Andrew Yang is trying to prepare people for the 2020s. You as a parent should prepare your kid for the 2020s now and lay it all out there. Lay out what debt is and what the future brings. And, and tell them, well, I'm comfortable if you don't go to college. You don't have to go to college, but what's your business plan then? What's your Bitcoin plan? That's good parental advice right there, I think. And I'm not even a parent. Pound that like button. But I had good parents. I have good parents, definitely. Okay, now, what do we got here? So yeah, that's it. So again, tell your make debt bad again. Seriously, debt is like it should be a something everyone fears, okay? But it's something that everyone has become so comfortable with. It's unfortunate. We're in the debt victim society now. And again, Bitcoin overlay, you extract yourself from that. You get into a world where there is no debt. Well, where you don't get into debt because you got savings, and you're not a victim. You admire people. You strive for greatness. All right, that's it. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below, bang that bell button. And someone in the tweet said, this Crypto Hoopty said, how do you get rich? Don't spend more than you make. There you go, people. Spending, control spending. People, the government has lost track of how to control spending. And so have individuals. The government goes into debt, so do individuals. People are just 80%ers are just following this mindless path. All right. Thanks everybody. I will see ya. Pound that like button. Bye.